welcome to Let's Hear It Live. We are indeed live. I'm Fiona Forbes.
And I'm Jeremy Sapper. We're excited. There's so many things going on for Juno Week.
I know, and that's what we're doing. We're basically celebrating the Junos. Tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. we'll be live streaming. Tomorrow night, same time, same place. We will be live, and it is all about the Junos. This week there has been so many concerts, so many events, and it's all led up to the big event happening on Sunday.
Sunday, Michael Bublé's back. I'm hoping that Jan Arden will do a little weird thing, right? You know Mike.
Always is. She's funny.
You know Mike.
And there are a lot of great events happening around town, including at the Vancouver Art Gallery. Now, if you're watching right now, you still have a couple hours if you're close to downtown, because there's a big setup right at the Art Gallery. You can go check it out. It's tented, so you don't have to worry about the weather. They've got a ton of great bands till 9 p.m. tonight, and then starting at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, straight through till 9 p.m. Ton of great performances, starting with kids entertainment in the morning. You can go check it out. It's all, the program schedule is all on letshearitbc.com.
It's fun. You know, it's all about celebrating the musicians that are Canadian. And I'm a little bit biased, but I think they are the best. And some of the local homegrown talent, I mean, we're talking to all kinds of people. Paul McCowan will be out on our, he's like kind of the roaming reporter this week, right?
Yeah, he's been talking to all the bands, and he'll be down at the Vancouver Art Gallery tonight and tomorrow. So if you see him, come say hi. You can find yourself on TV.
Say hi. Say hi to Paul. He looked a little bit cold out there, but rest assured, it is not that cold over at the location.
Cold. Now, Paul has had the opportunity to sit down with a ton of artists, and we'll be showing those interviews and a whole lot more on the show tonight. Tim Hicks is one of them. If you're a fan of Tim's, it's a great interview, and he sounds like a super nice guy.
Such a nice dude. He caught up with him over in Abbotsford. Larissa is also on the show, sitting down with Paul, a Finnish lady who seems to have some great talent behind her.
She does, and it looks like she's got some great plans for her shows that are going to be happening. And the Funk Hunters as well. If you're a fan of electronic music, of funk, these guys sound super cool.
Totally.
And there is a category they have brought back to the Juno Awards, and I have to say I'm really happy about this. It's Best Comedy Album.
I'm pretty excited about this too. When was the last time they had this?
1984 was the last time they celebrated Best Comedy Album, and it's when Bob and Doug McKenzie took it for Strange Brew. 1982 they actually took it as well, but this is the first time since 1984 there's going to be Best Comedy Album, and Paul had a chance to chat with a very funny fella by the name of Ivan Decker about his comedy album.
I'm
and his
so
nomination.
excited. And he, you know, he looked a little bit young in
He
that.
looks like he's 12.
Totally.
He's
fresh.
30-something.
And he was on Conan, right? Like, I mean, the guy's gotten around.
There are some funny Canadians as well as some very talented musicians. And speaking of talent, Michael Bublé, he, as Jeremy just said, he'll be hosting the Juno Awards. And one of the headlines, I think it was from the Vancouver Sun that I read, said, if Michael Bublé can't go to the Junos, you bring the Junos to Bublé. And this is the first time the Juno Awards are in Vancouver since, I think, 2009.
Quite a while, yeah. Rogers Arena, it's going to be an exciting time. I mean, Bublé, it's good to have him back, right?
It's great.
So good to have him back.
He's funny. Never mind, he's a great musician. He's hilarious, and I think he's the perfect host.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Sunday is going to be great, but this whole week is also going to be great. So make sure that you actually go and check out the Vancouver Art Gallery. Tweet us, see what's going on down there.
Absolutely. And once again, if you want to check out who else will be performing tonight and tomorrow until 9 p.m., you can go to letshearitbc.com. They have a huge rundown of all the performers. As we were talking about earlier in the day, they're going to have some stuff with CBC Kids and some kids performers, and then pretty much the whole gamut of genres of music throughout the rest of the day till 9 o'clock.
There's so many. There's so many to look forward to, too. I still want to do our impression of the comedy album. You know, of the comedy album. We should start going.
You want to be Bob and Doug McKenzie? We could be.
We all were Bob and Doug McKenzie at one
Absolutely,
point.
And there are a ton of great presenters that have been announced. Some of them just announced in the last couple of days for Sunday night. Charlotte Cardin, she has been, she's Breakthrough Artist of the Year. And on the right there, if you're a fan of the Olympics, Mark McMorris, I caught a CBC documentary they did on him because he had a horrible crash snowboarding and sustained terrible injuries. And I don't even think he was supposed to live, but then there he was at the Olympics taking the bronze medal on the podium. An incredible story, so great to see him.
Like 11 months later, I'm just trying to get out of bed sometimes.
I know,
you know?
totally.
And you saw Getty.
Now, that is the big news to me as such a huge Rush fan. You're a huge...
Totally.
Who isn't?
I love...
Geddy Lee.
I'm so excited.
I know. Now, he's going to be doing what I think will be the biggest moment of the Junos, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but Geddy Lee is going to be inducting the Bare Naked Ladies into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
And the BNL is going to have a big night, too. We will talk about that later. I'm just going to tease tease it there, you know?
Canadians are so nice. We can always get along at times when we're supposed to, right? Bare Naked Ladies are getting back together. It's the JUNOs.
We're always,
It's all about love and music.
I can't wait just to see what their performance is going to be. And I think it's going to make everyone itch for them to continue performing together.
I wouldn't doubt if they do. Absolutely. As we said, we've got a ton of great stuff coming up on the show for you tonight, so stick around. But what we're going to do first is we're going to see what Paul McClellan is up to at the Vancouver Art Gallery. Paul?
Hey guys, I'm here at the Vancouver Art Gallery just outside. They've got Let's Hear It Live. Bands are here all day today and tomorrow, so check it out. Come on out. It's all free. I've been talking to JUNO nominees all week, talking to a lot of up-and-coming artists from across Canada. We've been at JUNO Fest events. We went to the Vogue for one of the JUNO Fest concerts. We got music going on behind me right now. This is really cool. We were also down to Granville Island for a record release, but the very first person I talked to leading up to the JUNOs here was Tim Hicks. He's up for Country Album of the Year. That was out at the Abbotsford Centre.
I like to drink, she likes to smoke. They like to preach about things they don't know. He likes honky tonk, she loves rock and roll. Yeah, I like Chevy, she like Ford. I'm on a man, she's a 4 on the floor. Who's to say what's wrong, what's right? And just do what you gotta do to get by.
We are on the road to the JUNOs in Abbotsford with Tim Hicks right now, nominee for Country Album of the Year at the JUNO Awards. And, I mean, you're just wrapping up this tour.
Yes.
How's that been going
It's
for
been unbelievable. Big venues every night, whole lot of fun. My only complaint is it's just too short. Yeah, I wish that we could just be out with these guys all the time. It's been a great bill to be on, and they're super awesome guys to hang with. So it's been good. We're a little teary-eyed that it's over.
Totally. And Ontario boy headed west through some prime country music areas. Do you feel like it's like a pilgrimage of sorts with the JUNOs at the end of the trail as well?
Yeah, and you know that's the thing, and especially this year, it was a huge surprise to be nominated, and it wasn't really even on my radar. So it was a very nice surprise that day, and I'm just super stoked. It's always wonderful to be recognized by your peers, you know, and to represent country music at the national level in Canada is pretty humbling.
And Shake These Walls is the record that's nominated. Can you tell us in your own words just what's this one all about? What do you really love about this
I can
one?
tell you exactly what it was. So this time around, we cut the record live off the floor with a Nashville band, you know, as opposed to layering track by track. And I've made records both ways now, and I'm glad that I have. And now I have a better understanding of what I like about both processes. But that was the exciting part about Shake These Walls, was watching the songs come to life literally in front of you. You know, on a studio floor in Nashville, Tennessee. It was pretty wild.
It's an amazing party weekend. What do you love about that gathering of Canadian music and everything involved with the whole weekend?
Well, it's surreal to be surrounded by the people I grew up listening to. And you know what, at the JUNOs in 2014, I had the pleasure of performing on the same stage as Randy Bachman and the Sheepdogs and some of the guys from the Sadies. And it was wild. You know, to actually stand there, and I'll never forget it. We were in the dressing room afterwards, having a beer, and Jim Cuddy came up and said, "Oh, hi Tim, my name's Jim Cuddy," like as if I couldn't sing all of his songs back to him right now. You know what I mean? It was just one of those surreal JUNO type moments. It's like, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm standing here right now. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Tim Hicks, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. See you at the JUNOs.
And that, of course, was Paul McClellan with Tim Hicks. Such a nice guy, and such not just a JUNO moment, but what a Canadian moment.
What a
with
Canadian
the Sheepdogs and Jim Cuddy.
Totally.
And hanging out, having a beer.
I wish he was having a beer with us right now. Speaking of Jim Cuddy, you have a story about him.
I have had a beer with Jim Cuddy. Actually, it was more like wine. I had the opportunity to attend the Music and Wine Weekend at Clayoquot Wilderness Resort, which is the most beautiful place in the world I have ever been. Wow. But Jim Cuddy was playing the first night, and Ed Robertson from the Bare Naked Ladies was playing the second night. But of course, you've got musicians together. They jammed together the first night and the second night. And it was food and wine all weekend, horseback riding, whale watching, and then getting into the small plane to leave on the way home, Ed Robertson was on our flight and he got into the co-pilot seat.
Of course he did.
Talk about a Canadian moment. I'm leaving Clayoquot Wilderness Resort in Clayoquot Sound with Ed Robertson as the co-pilot.
And everyone is in plaid.
Absolutely.
It has to be. I don't think we could go without that. That's a hell of a story.
Yeah, but Jim Cuddy is a wonderful guy and he's such a great musician, needless to say.
Well, most of the stars have landed in Vancouver, and of course there's lots going around on this whole week, as we've kind of referenced a couple of times. Here's a little sneak peek of what you can actually expect coming up this week.
The Chambers Plan now offers employee benefit programs with greater selection, higher coverage levels, and more value than ever before. Take another look and see why we're the choice of more small businesses than any other plan in Canada. The Chambers Plan. It's for your benefit.
And welcome back once again to Let's Hear It Live. We are live in the studios. I'm Fiona Forbes.
And I'm Jeremy Saffron. Excited to have you with us. It's going to be a jam-packed hour. I mean, we're at the top of the hour still. Lots and lots to get through.
So much, because there's so much happening for the JUNO Awards. Of course, tons of great musicians performing all over town. So many events, so many Canadian moments. We just love it. But Sunday night, a lot of people were asking online when I posted on Facebook whether the general public can buy tickets to the JUNO Awards. You can check, look at Ticketmaster. Last I checked, there were still tickets left, but yes, you can go. And it's just, I've been before. I've been a couple of times. Last time in 2009, I worked the red carpet.
You did.
And the last time before that, because I'm so old, was 20 years ago with Ross Rebliati was there.
Man.
It was right when he won the Olympic gold.
Well, they're back, so you must love this. They're back, right? I mean, they're back in Vancouver. And speaking of which, we teased it a little bit at the very beginning of the show, but the Bare Naked Ladies are back, and with Stephen Page. Can we talk about this moment?
This is huge, and Jeremy and I both watched a wonderful interview that Tom Power from CBC's Q did with Stephen Page and Ed Robertson, but not together.
So
but what
good.
they did is they asked they asked them both the same questions, and it was so interesting hearing the story woven together. I've heard about the Bare Naked Ladies, of course, over the year. I've interviewed them a few times, but hearing Ed Robertson and Stephen Page talk about, they've known each other since elementary school.
Can you imagine? They were, speaking of which, the Rush t-shirt, right? I mean, he was the kid wearing the Rush t-shirt.
Ed Robertson was, yeah.
And that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be coming back together. The interview was fascinating because, like you said, you could see that it was a little bit...
they haven't spoken.
They haven't spoken at all.
And what happened was, in case you don't know this story, of course, the Bare Naked Ladies broke up, was it 2009?
Yes.
Yeah, they broke up in 2009. The four fellas have gone on to release 5 albums without Stephen Page. Of course, they ended the band with Stephen Page because, if you remember, there were drug charges in New York.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, and a lot of artistic disagreements, which they talk about in the interviews. So what happened was they were informed that they were going to be inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, and they didn't know what to do.
Except text.
Except text. It's like texting your ex. That's how Stephen Page said. He's just like, it's like texting your ex. You haven't been in the same room.
Totally. And the history that these guys have, and 9 years not playing together, the next thing you know, decided that it's going to be a one-off. They're coming together. Yeah,
it wasn't, you know, they were initially just supposed to be presented with the award by Geddy Lee for the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. But I guess over text, all the fellas have come together to decide that they should perform again.
It's going to be a heck of a moment. How do you think that's going to go? We won't see any awkwardness. They did say that they've been able to perform together no matter what, just totally professionally. They love what they do,
but
right?
All 5 guys have not been in the same room since 2009. So I think that that is going to be the big moment
Totally.
of the Junos. But what was really interesting is Stephen Page and Ed Roberts in this interview talking about, I think Stephen was in grade 4 and Ed was in grade 5. The first time they sang a note together, their harmony was perfect.
Yeah,
so I think stepping on the stage, they're not going to have lost that at all.
No, I think that the harmony is going to come back. They're so in sync. And I mean, the band, the history of the band, the fans that are there, and then to round it up, you're being inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame. I think it's going to be an exceptional moment.
And I remember when the Bare Naked Ladies got discovered because they sang, was it Edith that they sang? Maybe it wasn't, to Speaker's Corner.
Oh, yeah.
Speaker's Corner, for the kids out there who don't know, it was the original YouTube. It was basically a camera on a wall of a building that you put in $1. Yeah. But they actually sang their song to Speaker's Corner, and that video went viral on Much Music back when kids used to watch TV.
Well, and back when artists were paying thousands to produce these
Probably
videos.
Millions.
Millions. And these guys come around, I mean, so Canadian, such a story, but really to get them all together, if I had a million.
I'm
not going to do it. I'm not going to
sing it. But I wonder what song they're going to choose to sing, or if they'll sing just one, because, you know, maybe.
Do you think it's one of those live sessions where maybe if they're really jamming, the producers will just let them go long?
They'll have to.
You got to.
This is a moment, people.
I'm excited about this.
I am really excited about it too, because Sunday night's going to have a lot of great moments, obviously. I'm really cheering on Michael Bublé and Jan Arden being there. There's going to be so many great Canadian legends there. And then, as we were talking about at the top of the show, they've actually brought back Comedy Album of the Year, which is amazing.
It's amazing. Tim Hicks, actually, is one of those people that are up for a nominee. Ivan Decker,
yes.
rather. Ivan Decker is up for a nomination in that category. And a funny guy, formerly on Conan. Conan done a couple of things.
Yeah, I think he was on Conan O'Brien last year, but he, as we were talking about, he looked so young.
Yeah.
He is a very funny guy, as you will see in the interview. Lots of great Canadian comics are nominated in this category. I was listening to a bunch of them today. But once again, they've brought back Comedy Album of the Year. Last time they did this was 1984. So let's check out Paul McClellan with the funny man, Ivan Decker.
Okay, so Ivan Decker is up for Comedy Album of the Year at the Junos. Now, we're talking Junos. We got like Rush, Arcade Fire, Randy Bachman, Ivan Decker. Does it all make sense?
Yeah, it's pretty astounding. You know, it's kind of cool to be up there with all these phenomenally talented musicians and other Canadians. And they play instruments, you know, they know things like music theory. I just talk about my microwave. That's kind of it.
That's a kind of instrument, an instrument of cooking. Do you play any instruments?
I played guitar for like a little bit in high school, and I realized that everybody else also played guitar. So when you try to get a band, it's like, we got 7 guitars. You play bass. I'm like, I don't want to play bass. And then you're just fighting over who plays bass.
But it helps with girls.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
I Wanted to Be a Dinosaur is the name of the album. I mean, without giving too many spoilers to the folks, if they listen to this one, what are they getting? What's the experience?
It's a really fun album. You can listen to it with your kids. It's totally clean. It's not a dirty, filthy toilet album. It's just a fun. You can put it on in the car with the kids in the back. I don't know why that's my target market. Everybody should like it. It's for everyone. I don't know. It's just kind of the best jokes that I've developed over the last 10 years because it was my first comedy album, so it's kind of everything that I have written in my career up to that point.
Were there specific dinosaurs you wanted to be?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Velociraptor was a good one. Everybody watched Jurassic Park and then was like, Velociraptors are the best, except they lied because a Velociraptor is not represented in that movie. The dinosaurs they depicted were actually the Deinonychus because they're tall. The Velociraptors are the size of a turkey. They're not big. And so Jurassic Park lied to us, and I'm still very upset at Steven Spielberg. And you know what? Michael Crichton, too, because he's the author, but he's still responsible.
So get back to the Junos. What does a nomination mean to you with your material? It's your first big record release, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. I feel very honored that I'm involved in it, and it's really cool that they brought back the Comedy Album of the Year category after, I think, 34 or 33 years. So, you know, it's really cool to be one of the first 5 to be in that category, and, you know, such an honor.
And you're back in Vancouver right now. Is there anything happening locally? What are you up to in the next little bit?
The Junos is happening. It's pretty exciting.
I've heard that's a big one.
I'm involved in that. I'm not sure if you know.
With the Chamber's plan, choosing the right employee benefit program is easy. It's flexible, easy to manage, has stable rates, and fits your budget. Choose the plan that covers more small businesses than any other in Canada. The Chamber's plan.
And welcome back once again to Let's Hear It Live. I'm Fiona Forbes.
I'm Jeremy Saffron. Hell of an interview over there, huh?
I know, and what a funny guy. Looks very, I actually had to Google to see how old he was. And that guy was like,
He's so off the cuff.
30?
Is he 32?
Yeah.
32.
Yeah. Once again, the category of Comedy Album of the Year is back. And of course, we're Canadian. We've got lots of great Canadian musicians. Yes, it's the Junos, but do we ever have some funny people?
Oh my goodness, we have so many funny people. I mean, some of the comedians have, I think, a few things prepared for the night too. There's so many surprises that they're just doing over at these JUNO Awards.
Yeah, and if you get the opportunity, pick up those comedy albums. I'm sure you can download them on iTunes as well. They were playing bits and pieces of them today on CBC. I heard Charlie Demures, who is a Vancouverite as well. He's the voice of the slug on Beat Bugs, but he's a very, very funny guy. But lots of great people in that category to check out for sure.
So what is one of the things that you're looking forward to? I mean, we talked about a few of them, but one of the things, there's so many moments that Sunday is probably going to provide us. One that I cannot wait for is Arcade Fire.
You're a big fan. I'm a big fan too.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have blown up a lot.
Huge, talented artists. Actually, just coming off of SNL this past weekend too. So I think that they're from New York over to Vancouver, home. You know, closer to Montreal.
I just love that. You know, it was a late addition to the lineup of the Junos, but I think a lot of people are like yourself, super excited. They are, of course, indie rockers. They'll be performing at the ceremony, so we'll be able to see them perform. But they're also going to be receiving an International Achievement Award. And artists in the past, Canadian artists in the past who have won this one are Bryan Adams, Alanis Morissette, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, Sarah McLachlan, and Drake.
Drake, the D.
I think Drake is MIA at these.
I was surprised not to see Drake this JUNO Award.
Who knows? It's the Junos. A lot of people could be making surprise appearances. And then it was a tough year, of course, for Canada because we lost Gord Downie. And I have to say, what a Canadian thing that those last concerts that I'm going to get all emotional that Gord Downie, I didn't get a chance to see one.
I didn't either.
But just looking at the photographs, the fact that he did this when he had terminal cancer as a gift to cancer. Of course, he lost his battle with brain cancer in October 2017. But there's going to be a big Gord Downie tribute because he's going to be, he's posthumously nominated for 3 awards for his solo album, Introduce Yourself.
Which was fantastic. I mean, the guy's energy towards the end was just remarkable. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the documentary.
I did.
Just brilliant.
So powerful.
What do you say about him?
When a whole country comes together behind you like that, it just gives you chills. So one of the members of Bare Naked Ladies, keyboardist Kevin Hearn, will be pulling double duty and performing with the Bare Naked Ladies for their first time together, reuniting with Stephen Page. And he'll be joining Sarah Harmer and Dallas Green in the big tribute to Gordon Downie. But I'm sure that they're going to have a few more additions to that lineup.
Like, you know, I think that there's going to be a few surprises. I mean, Harmer is a fantastic musician herself, but I'm still hoping for a little bit of the Jan Arden touch in there. Just a touch, you know?
And she's got a new album out as well, and a book.
And a book. So many things going on with her mom. I don't know. Like Fiona said, follow her on Instagram. She's hilarious on her stories.
She's really, really funny. But it's nice to see that side of artists because it breaks down the wall, because before you'd only see them in interviews, and now they just let the guard down.
Exactly, and there's so many things to actually talk about. When you can use that star power to do something good, it's even better, right?
And once again, we are Let's Hear It Live, and we are celebrating everything Junos, telling you about what's already happened during the week with our roving, intrepid reporter, Paul McClellan. And we also wanted to remind you that the Vancouver Art Gallery is the place to be till 9 p.m. tonight. Lots of great performances happening there. And then again tomorrow, starting at 9:30 a.m. The website is on the screen for you right now. It's letshearitbc.com to find the full lineup of entertainers because they have a little bit of everything for everyone.
Totally. Family fun, you know, family-friendly fun. I'm actually quite excited and quite envious of Paul. I mean, we like being in the studio where it's nice and warm.
But we're missing the music.
We're missing the music. And the people, come and say hi to Paul if you see him.
Absolutely. Tons of great stuff going on. And as you saw probably when Paul was down there before, it's tented down there, so you don't have to worry about the weather. Go down there tomorrow. It will be happening all day long, and it's going to be kid-friendly. You can check it out. Big family event as well, going straight through till 9 o'clock. And one of the bands that Paul actually got to interview, Funk Hunters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great name. It means that it's
say it very carefully.
The Funk Hunters.
That's right.
The Funk Hunters. They're a great Canadian talent, and honestly, I caught some of their script, some of their tape, and they're fantastic. I want to see them.
Fantastic stuff. Well, let's check out Paul McClellan now with the Funk Hunters.
Hey, we're here with Duncan from Funk Hunters. How's it going, Duncan?
It's going good.
Going pretty good. Are you enjoying the JUNO week leading up to the awards?
Yeah, I'm fully enjoying it.
Well, it's a big one for you guys, not just because of the JUNOs, but the release of your record is JUNO Weekend Typecast. First of all, how excited are you guys for that? It's a long time coming.
Yeah, it is a long time coming. We've had the project going for about 10 years now. I think this is our 10-year anniversary, so it's our first album. We're pretty excited. You know, we knew the JUNOs were in town, so we figured it'd be a good time with a lot of eyes on Vancouver right now to drop our first album. Okay, so Typecast is the record. Can you tell us a little bit about the experience that listeners are in for in this one? Yeah, I think it's the name kind of stems from, you know, us. We're called the Funk Hunters. We obviously have a genre stamped right in our name, and you know, Nick and I have always tried to kind of really be genre blenders, or you know, avoid labels of certain things. But obviously, we've been typecasted as a certain type of producers and DJs. So I think the album's a bit of an expose of a lot of the different styles of music that we're really into and love, and are trying to push right now. All different kinds of electronic music. So some good diversity in there. Yeah, I mean, it's got there's some hip hop, some disco, future bass stuff, soul, funk, drum and bass, house. It's a bit of everything. So we're really excited. Well, the record's coming out, but you guys have been doing a ton of touring over the past several years. How is that? I mean, do you have favorite stops? Do you get to enjoy the stops other than the work music stuff? Yeah, I mean, being able to travel the world, sharing and doing what you love is obviously a dream come true. I think, you know, some of the touring we've done, it can be very intensive, and going to amazing places and not really being able to take it in can be a bit of a tease sometimes. But overall, you know, the touring we've done over the past few years has been really inspiring, and we've just met so many amazing people and just gone to places we never dreamed that music could take us. So it's been really, really awesome. Fans worldwide, and people seem to really be digging your stuff. I mean, how does it feel to go out there around the world from, you know, local beginnings to getting that type of attention? Yeah, it's a special feeling. I mean, when we just finished a month-long tour in the U.S. and we were down in the southern states where we've never been before, and showing up to a venue on a Thursday night and there being a couple hundred people there to hear your music and even wearing your hats or whatever, it's like it's really a trip. But you know, it's really humbling, and I think that's what pushes us to keep doing this. I mean, push anyone. You know, when you realize what you've started, it kind of becomes bigger than you ever could have imagined. It's really amazing. And you guys met out on Galliano, where you're from. Do you spend much time out there still? Yeah, I mean, my mom still lives there and got a lot of friends and family, and you know, they're going to be over this weekend for the JUNOs and for the celebration of our release. But yeah, Vancouver's been home for us for, you know, the last 8 or 9 years, and it's very accessible to both Galliano and Vancouver Island, where we're both from. So. And you're part of the Let's Hear It Live event that's happening outside the Vancouver Art Gallery that we're live streaming some of. I mean, what do you like about that? It's a big gathering of just Canadian talent. I mean, that's the JUNOs coming to Vancouver, but getting to have all those folks in one spot for you guys, what do you like about that? Yeah, I mean, the whole event is just amazing. It's great just to see so many talented artists on the bill, and I mean, for us, we've had a lot of support in Vancouver and in Western Canada, so to be able to do a free outdoor show on the day of our album release is just amazing. So thanks so much for joining us, Duncan. Best of luck with the release. Folks can check you guys out. What's the website? thefunkhunters.com, and everywhere else is just The Funk Hunters. So yeah. Gotta check them out. Check out the new record. It's just on its way out now. Cool. Thanks, Paul. Thank you. Right on.
The Chamber's plan now offers employee benefit programs with greater selection, higher coverage levels, and more value than ever before. Take another look and see why we're the choice of more small businesses than any other plan in Canada. The Chamber's plan. It's for your benefit.
And welcome back to Let's Hear It Live. I'm Fiona Forbes.
I'm Jeremy Safran. What a great interview, huh?
Great interview with those guys, the Funk Hunters. You'll have to check them out and get their album.
So, fun fact, I'm obsessed with Galliano Island.
Why?
I love it.
It's beautiful, I know that, but I haven't been there
it.
since I was a kid.
Oh, man, there's this restaurant called Pilgrim. I went down, I think, last year, and I just love it. I mean, it's calm, it's quiet, it's perfect. Your dog would love it there.
You'd probably get eaten by birds.
or maybe a massive deer. Let's talk about the Georgia Viaduct.
The Georgia Viaduct. Now, it was a big. There was a big foo-fa-ra when Deadpool was shooting, and they shut down the viaduct because of filming.
Yeah.
But it's Ryan Reynolds, and we're Canadians, and he said sorry, so we're like, meh. It's
right?
Ryan Reynolds.
But it doesn't look like we're all saying meh to this one. I mean, people are not. There's a little bit of talk about it, but we're. Where is the red carpet going?
Well, here's the deal. The Georgia Viaduct is closing as we speak. I think it closes at 9 p.m. There was also a little bit of confusion about that this evening, whether it was closing at 7 or 9. It's closing tonight and will reopen Monday morning for your commute. But here's the thing. In all these things that Jeremy and I have been reading, it says it's closing down for the red carpet. Here's the deal. I happen to know that the Georgia Viaduct is quite long. And, we're Canadian, it's the JUNOs, and I know that's a reason to celebrate,
Totally.
but that's a really long red carpet. Do they have to walk it?
Massive. I hope that they don't have to walk it.
It's
not going to be like the Oscars, where there's a lineup of cars going to it. They could have did the stairs up. You could have been the red carpet.
Well, I can't remember where they had the red carpet the last time with the JUNOs. I remember it was down maybe on Arthur Griffith's Ways. It was like half the block, like normal red carpets. But the viaduct, is Michael Bublé going to have to do a marathon before he hits the stage?
Well,
he's going to be tired.
He's going to reference the viaducts because him and Ryan Reynolds have to have a banter going back and forth.
Every Canadian knows each other. Come on.
Any funny stories about any of these artists?
Many.
Well,
it's funny because I can tell you, Michael Bublé, many years ago, I think going on almost 20 years ago, the show I used to do, Urban Rush, with Michael Eckford, was live at the PNE, and we were just a couple of kids who had a random cable show, and nobody knew who we were. And a woman, her name is Beverly Delich. Michael still talks about her because she was his first business manager. She came up to our stage, and she said, "You've got to have this kid on your show." And at the time, Michael was a kid. I believe he was about 17 years old, and he was in the discovery stage. I forget what they call the music contest, the singing contest they have at the PNE, but Michael won. And he came on our show. He came on our show, and he was just a kid, so he would keep coming back on our show. Amazing. And he became a pal over the years because he's a little bit of a troublemaker, that one.
Just a little bit, huh?
And he would always try and make us laugh during interviews, which he was very good at doing. But every time he does come to town, he's not doing press for the JUNOs this year, but he's always kind enough to give me an interview.
I'm so happy to see him back. He's totally good. And Burnaby, still grandpa, sister has a place in Kitts, the restaurant there. There's all kinds of things with his family. He's still very much attached to the city. Very much so. He's a good old Burnaby boy, and we're happy to have him back hosting the JUNOs, of course. And we were talking about the Bare Naked Ladies. And I interviewed them, I guess it was in 2014, because they were celebrating, I think, 25 years in being in the music industry. They're such good gents, huh? They are such good guys, such funny fellas. I've interviewed them at We Day because, of course, like many Canadian artists, they really do some good. Yeah. And separately, I have a funny story about Jason Priestley and Stephen Page. Will you tell it on the show? No, you know what? Jason has a winery called the Black Hills down in Okanagan, and I was lucky enough to go to an event there. And Stephen was there. He's a big wine connoisseur. Huge wine connoisseur. Yeah. And he has a wonderful property. And we went to an event there, and he ended up coming for a drink or two back to the pad. Mm-hmm. And just the chillest guy. He was able to ask him all the questions. He was the greatest. So real Canadians here. And how was Stephen? That was Stephen. Jason was just off. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, Stephen and Jason, they were actually both quite great. I mean, they were very, very nice to all of us. So you can't say anything bad about any Canadians. That's all I'm saying. We're just good Canadian kids. But it is about the music and celebrating everything about Canadian music. And Paul McClellan has been working hard, interviewing a ton of great artists, including Calarissa. So here is Paul McClellan with Calarissa right now.
All right, we're with Larissa, a.k.a. Calarissa. How's it going getting ready for your show tonight?
I'm doing great.
Doing great. Now, Kellarissa is a Finnish word, I understand. Can you tell us the meaning of that, and how did that become the band name or your act's name?
It literally means in the basement. I remember reading it on a note my mother had written me, you know, something's in the basement in Finnish, and I thought, hey, my name's in that.
So it's Finnish. Do you speak Finnish then?
I do, yeah.
Now, I've always wondered, I've talked to some artists about this, but like when you're bilingual, how does that impact even writing? Because there's always words in one language that aren't in another. Like, how does that influence you?
I've written, you know, I haven't really done a lot of Finnish songs lately, but when I first started, I was writing in Finnish, and it was more of an exercise, but I found that there were a lot of words that you could portray the nature and, you know, the feelings that you couldn't quite get across in English, so it was interesting to do that.
Does it sort of change like the thought process in some ways when you're thinking in two languages?
It does. I found the songs I wrote in Finnish and the songs I write in English are very different.
Ocean Electro is the new record you've got coming out right now. Can you tell us just a little bit about what to expect when folks listen to this one?
Yeah, it's very like synth heavy and very vocals heavy. There's lots of loops and layers of voices, and it's, you know, kind of dreamy with driving beats. Yeah.
I got to listen to a little bit of the sound check just now. It's like beautiful, cinematic, like I'm picturing a sci-fi movie. Like,
yeah,
what sort
totally.
of things influenced you when the sounds were coming through for this one?
Well, primarily it's like a lot of ocean themes, but then, you know, you tack on electro because, you know, and there's a lot of like, you know, like I said, beats and electronic sounds and synthesizers and stuff. So I think that's where the sort of spacey sci-fi feel came in.
And the record itself is dedicated to the ocean. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I don't know if I ever put it into words, but I would say it is.
And well, I mean, is that a concept that sort of came to you while you were creating,
yeah,
or
well,
how did that come about?
You discover as you're writing that there's a theme emerging here, and a lot of the songs ended up being about the ocean.
And a lot of the imagery for the live performance, it looks like, is water-based.
Yeah, yeah, I have a video of a pool in the background.
Some pool noodles, did I see?
Yes, pool noodles.
Is video and the visual aspect a big part for you when you're creating music as well?
No, I actually spent many years working in a video store, so like maybe I think cinematically, but I don't often create visual stuff along with my music stuff. But like I did that video, and it's fun to fool around with it.
It seemed to work really well with the vocals as well. Yeah, no, and you worked in a video store, so you can give me tips on what to rent next.
Yeah. I don't think people rent movies anymore.
Yeah, I guess not. Netflix tips.
Yeah.
Okay. If people know you previously from work that you've done with Fake Tears or piano, like how does the solo stuff compare to what they might have heard on those fronts?
Yeah, well, it's probably closer to Fake Tears, especially like this record with all the synthesizers and the female vocals and stuff like that. Piano was a little more, you know, we had guitars and organs and like acoustic instruments a lot of the time. And also I wasn't the main songwriter in piano, so the music's a little different, but it's a lot more intimate with the like emotional aspect, you know.
And with the multiple vocalists, the harmonies and everything, for the recording, is it you layer?
It's all me. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And I just thought I'd do something special tonight and get 4 vocalists to sing along.
And how is that working? I mean, it looks like you guys have choreographed some moves.
Yeah,
They've all got amazing voices as well.
Yeah, sorry, we brought in the moves like really the last minute, so
it was looking good though.
Okay. Maybe they'll have it figured out by the showtime. Yeah.
And that was our roving reporter, Paul McClellan, in conversation with Kellarissa. Of course, you'll have to check her out. You can check out her website to find out more about her music. And I think the great thing about the JUNOs and all award shows, it makes me excited about new musicians.
Totally.
And in this case, even new comedians to go check out.
You know, every JUNOs award is actually quite great. I get on Shazam and I start writing down the new song titles that I kind of learn about, and it really does build up that vibe for the next time.
It does, and it really promotes the artist, which is great. And you learned about some of those artists that Paul was interviewing throughout the show, so we wanted to say thank you to Tim Hicks. You can check him out. Ivan Decker is the comedian we've been chatting about. Very funny fella if you want to check out his album. The Funk Hunters, and of course you just saw Kellarissa as well. So thanks to them for taking the time out for the interviews. And we also wanted to let you know that tomorrow, once again, if you check out the Vancouver Art Gallery, you can just head on down there. There are musical performances going on all day long from 9:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. and you can go to letshearitbc.com to find the full lineup. Tons of stuff, something for everybody.
I'm so excited, and Paul will be back there tomorrow. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow,
We'll be back here.
7 p.m. sharp.
Absolutely, and yeah, so thanks to everybody for watching, and if you're out there enjoying the Junos festivities this weekend, thank you for celebrating Canadian music, and we're going to leave you with a little bit more Canadian music. Here is Leif Vollebeck, and thank you for watching.
See you tomorrow.
Your business is always changing, and so are your employee benefit needs. Fortunately, the Chamber's plan is also changing to offer you even more selection, higher coverage levels, and more value. We can help you build a benefits program that's right for your business and your budget. Take another look and see why we're the choice of more small businesses than any other plan in Canada. The Chamber's plan. It's for your benefit. Visit our website for more information and to request a free quote.
Just before our love was over, you said must call sinners and morning star. And I said, constantly in the darkness, where's that at? Romeo in the light. On the back road, cartoon coaster.